Okay, good evening, everybody. This is Michael Weniger, CEO of Asante Organics, and today you're going to see me actually inside the house because you know what? Last week it was like I said, it was like 109 degrees out, and I was out there sweating in the yard here doing the video. But today, a week later, we're at 70 degrees, and I am freezing. I'm sure for a lot of people on the East Coast and Upper Midwest, that's probably running around in shorts at that point in time, but I was like, I didn't want to get bundled up and get outside. But tonight, we are going to talk a little bit about a company called Asante Organics, right? And you know what? I think I'm going to do this, and I'm going to um, call on a couple people, and and we're going to hear some testimonials, and we're going to hear a little bit about um, how they feel about the company and things like that. So Asante Organics, well, we established in 2004. I guess I can tell you, we had a guest speaker on tonight that uh, couldn't make it. So JJ and myself and Robert Blackman under his pseudonym tonight. And a few others will tell you a little bit about the company. And Asante Organics is the first and only USDA certified organic superstore on the internet. And my whole life I've been in the health and wellness industry, right? So I went to UWM in Wisconsin, sports fitness kinesiology, and my entire life was pretty much devoted to the health and wellness industry. And hence the formation of Asante Organics back in 2004. We started with the company with one product, and we got onto did so well with that product. We made it to we were featured on TV on Access Hollywood, Entertainment Tonight, Good Morning America, The Today Show, um, Extra TV, The Doctors, and we sold a lot of that product. We were in magazines such as Us Weekly, Star Magazine, Elle, Vogue, Women's World, and the list can go on and on and on. And we accumulated so much in sales with that one product from TV that we were able to open up the company Asante Organics. And the next thing that came in line was the alkalizing protocol. And we had a bunch of alkalarians come over to the company that wanted us to develop a way to alkalize the body, and we did. And we did it pretty well because we did it so well that back in 2012, we were on the NBC network as having the the strongest alkalizing products in the world. All right. And this was after they did an 18-month um, uh, went around the world and looked at what is all this alkalizing, and then they came to that conclusion based on all the results and all the testing and everything that they did. And then in 2010, we were like, you know what? And this really kind of started with me just designing. I was like, we're in a world today where right now the world's going green. We can't stop the world from going green. The world's going green, and you can see it. It's evident. Look at all the solar that's going up. You can see it there. You can see it in um, I look out yonder, right? And I see my neighbor there, way out there, and he's got his solar and he's driving his electric car, and then he goes into his green sustainable house. But nobody does. I don't even live in here. I live in here. And this is what we got to take care of. We got one chance. Okay. We're either going to be really healthy for a very, very long time. We're going to have issues, crazy issues that can happen, right? And so we designed Sanitary Organics. And I was like, I wanted to do this for myself, my family, because there was nothing in the marketplace that I could find that would cover you from A to Z, head to toe, and it was all USDA certified organic plants. I'm a guy who I watch sports, right? It's about it. If I watch anything on TV, I'm either watching a golf tournament, football.
It wasn't an accident.
Oh. I'm watching football, I'm watching, baseball or any type of sports, right? And I can't get through a golf tournament for 4 hours and see 15 different types of commercials on there. Well, if you use baby powder, get in on that lawsuit. And if you were too close to Roundup, go over there and get in on that. And here and there. And at the end of the thing, if you have 10 health issues, get in on these lawsuits. And let me tell you something, money is absolutely worthless. It's absolutely worthless if you don't have your health. So we went out and we started Asante Organics and we started sharing it with the world. And now I'm going to tell you what, it's gaining speed like crazy. Why? Just careful consumers, people that read labels. I can't, it was in the store um, the other day. I was walking down through the aisles and I saw this lady sitting there. She was reading this label. And I said to somebody that was listening, I was like, oh my gosh, look at that. So I started walking over there, like, Mike, come on. I'm like, no, 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 no. What? So I walked up to her and I go, wow. I says, looks like you're reading labels. I says, man, that's something. And I said, she goes, oh, absolutely. She goes, I won't put nothing. I don't want to touch nothing that has anything in there. And I glanced over her shoulder and I said, well, then I'd put that down. She goes, what do you mean? I go, EDTA. You know what that is? That's a form that's a derivative of formaldehyde. Bam, she stuck it on there. And I gave her my card, right? Because, that was the mission of this company and we did it well. We got a nutritional line that is, oh my goodness, that has been nominated with products in it that were nominated for the Nobel Prize, right? And imagine that, a nutritional line that has a product line in there that's been nominated for the Nobel Prize. We got um, a personal care line and home care line that has won 14, that has acquired 14 international green peace awards. You come into our offices, all you see is that stuff around, all the awards and everything that we've won. And it's a great thing for the general public. And you couldn't have better timing. And with that, I want to bring somebody on real quick and might even call in a couple other people here. I'm just looking to see who's all in the house. And I'm going to turn it over first to Robert Blackman. So, Robert Blackman, you got the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. And tonight, guys, grab a pen and paper. I will have a couple little things I want you to write down. Before I start the call, I just wanted to thank Michael and Dr. JJ and Daniel for allowing me to come out and speak tonight. Um, they trust me. They don't know what I'm going to say, and that's just a testament to them, that these gentlemen that run the company. They've been where we are as distributors. They know what it takes to be successful in the field. And I know what it takes to be successful at corporate as well, because I had a company which I sold. So I I'm here tonight. One of the reasons I'm here tonight, beyond the products, is that I trust these guys, that they trust me. And that's this business. That's life, right? You got your family, you got your close friends that you can trust, people that you can call or text, say, hey, I need a favor. And they'll, without saying, hey, what is it? They drop everything and they come help you. And that's these guys. So, number one, I'd like to thank them tonight. Number two, I want you to start writing down some numbers for me. The first one is I want you to write down the number of 3,147. I'm going to take you through a down line that I had, and I'm going to give you the numbers on it. And tonight, everyone's going to, we're all adults here. We're going to put our big boy and big girl pants on, and I'm going to tell it like it is. I'm going to give you the truth. Kind of like when you go to Vegas and you watch the guy saw the girl in half, and you go, how did he do that? They take you behind the scenes and they show you the trick, and you go, ah. So tonight, I'm going to show you the truth, not to scare you, not to be negative, but to be real with you. That if you were my kids, I would be telling you, I've got 5 children, here's what you need to avoid. Here's what's going to happen. And then when it happens, they can come back and say, thanks, Dad. So tonight, I want you to write down 3,147. That's the number of distributors I had in an organization after 2 years. Next number I want you to write down is 642. And then underneath that number, I want you to put 2,505. Here's the significance of these numbers because these numbers tell the truth. Numbers don't lie. People may, but numbers do not lie. They tell you something. And I'm a numbers guy. Grew up in the printing business, and everything had to be numbered. So the 642, guess what that number is? That's the number of distributors that sponsored one person or more. So that comes out to 20.4%. So under the 642, right to the next of it, 20.4%. Now, the 2,505 number, what does that represent? That represents the rest of the distributors that never sponsored anybody. And that comes up to 79.6%. Now, 3,147 was the size of my group. That group grew because 642 people put in one person or more. 2,505 people came in for $499 and never sponsored anybody. Now, this was a company that's now closed, so I can talk about it. It was the first company that came out with coffee berry in a coffee, and it was, they were talking about the coffee berry fruit is where all the nutrients are, and they gave great videos. It was a great story. We could tell the story. All 3,147 people came in for a $499 distributor pack. All of them did. And they bought this coffee. The coffee tastes great. You felt great after the coffee. But 2,500 people decided to spend $500 and do nothing. That's the facts. And you have to realize that when you go out and you start building Asante, yes, you need one on your left and one on your right. You got to sponsor that in order to start earning commissions and be on so many points. But you have to realize you can't just put in two people. You got to put in more than two. I put in this program right here about 45 people in the first year. And I just ran with those people. About a dozen of them are the people that made me six figures. What you're looking at right now, as scary as that may seem to some of you, that's a six-figure check. I was making over $10,000 a month with 642 active people, or 642 people that put in 3,147 people. We had a high retention rate because people drank coffee. We had a great story. They just didn't want to tell anybody about it. The 25, the masses don't. This is what we call the 80-20 rule. Look how close this is. These aren't made up numbers. I've got this documented. I can open it up on my computer anytime and show you. Real numbers, 80-20. What is that? That's human psychology. That's human interaction with other people. That shows that 80% of the people were willing to spend $500 on the hope that this would be a business that would be for them, but also they bought it because of the product. But you can't expect the 80% to be the 20%. And we do. I still do today. I want everybody to succeed. I want everybody to take our products at Asante Organics. I want everybody to share it with their family. But you know what I'm prepared for? I'm prepared to have a group of 1,000 people where 800 of them didn't sign up one person. And that's okay here because you know what? Those 800 people are going to be doing, they're going to be taking the products and changing their lives. And I'm going to continue to talk to them. I'm going to continue to text them and email them. And where the company's going to email those 800 people and say, hey, we're having a call. If you want to learn how to build the business, here's what we're doing. That's what Tuesday night's about. That's what tonight's about, how to build the business. Tonight, I'm giving you the proper expectations to know what you're up against when you're out there. I would not send anybody onto a football field without helmets and a pad. And this is your helmets and pad, okay? You got to put them on. You got to get ready because you're going to have a lot of people that are going to come in and not do anything. That's not your fault. It's not Asante Organics' fault. It's not even the distributor's fault that do nothing. It's just the numbers. And if you know the numbers and you trust the numbers, then you'll go out and you'll know what you got to do. These numbers propel me to continue to work when I think I've arrived and it's time to quit. Guess what? It's never time to quit to changing people's lives. The day I die, I'll be talking about these products. This is my company. This is the company I'm going to build. This company is going to go on momentum. This company is going to be $1 billion company. Just watch it. Be a part of it. If you're one of the 20%, you'll be a part of it. So regardless of how big this company gets, 80% of the people that sign up as a rep aren't going to put anybody in, or maybe 70%. Maybe we'll break the code a little bit because our products are so good, our message is so strong, and we don't have any competition. We've got zero competition, nada. There's not anybody out there that can hold a candle to our product line. And it's time for all of us to go out there and share that message. And how you share it, what do you say? Well, get with your sponsor. And if they don't know what to say, get with your sponsor and keep going up the ladder. Call the company and say, hey, we want to know who's in our organization that will help us specifically with our wording, our verbiage, our texting, our emailing, our phone calls, our voicemail messages. When we meet somebody at Starbucks, what do we say? What do we do on social media? All these little things that we use as excuses to say, well, if I just knew what to say, I'd talk to more people or I'd talk to anybody. So, sponsors, get with those people that you've brought in, get your message, get it straight as your team, whatever that is. I know that I'll share stuff on these calls, corporate will share stuff, and that's to help those people that maybe have a sponsor that's, missing in action and they need help. But it's up to you, sponsors, that if you sponsored one or more people in this business, it's up to you to go tell them how to build the business, to give them the verbiage to do it. And when you do that, you're going to find yourself that you can make a 6-figure check here, 5-figure check to start with, 200-300 to begin with. And it's going to grow because the fact that the products are so are so good. I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and she said, these products work even if you take them wrong, but they really, really work when you take them right. And I laugh, and I was telling Michael when I first got in that I found myself taking the products and swallowing them down with a Coke. And I caught myself doing that when I was walking back to the bedroom, and I said, you know what? I can't start that over, but tomorrow I'm going to be better. So all of us are going to struggle a little bit to how we're going to blend in these products into our life. Well, number one, you got to get them in. You got to order. If you haven't ordered anything yet, get those in. If your first order is gone and you're waiting to order another pack, waiting for money, the next paycheck, that's understandable. But find out what you like, find out what you need, and get them placed as an auto ship order because you don't want to go without these products. I can tell an incredible difference in my life. Not only have I lost weight, my digestion process, how I feel after I eat, how I sleep, and then I do this with every company. I got off the products for 2 weeks. And guess what? I started feeling like junk. And I got back on the products, and 3 or 4 days later, guess what? I started feeling good again. So use these numbers tonight. Write them if you've written them down, and know that's numbers from a real downline from a full-time network marketer. And even someone say, well, Robert, you're so good. I'm sure everybody does something. I had 80% of the people on my team didn't sponsor one person or more. So this business does not discriminate. People might, but the business model does not. And that's what I love about it. If you do the work, you'll get it done. Now, here's something I want to leave with, and I'll give it back to Michael. What are people normally expected to do when they go to work? What happens when you go to work? What's the number one thing that's expected to happen? You go to work, what happens next? You get paid, right? You look around at your coworkers. Sally shows up, Mike shows up, Jim shows up. You all chit chat all the time. You got a little circle going. You're happy. You're in a groove. And everybody around you is getting a paycheck. You know that because they tell you, hey, I got my check. Did you get yours? Yeah. Hey, here's what I'm going to go do. I'm going to go pay my electric bill, then we're going to go out and go to dinner tonight. Would you like to come with us? That's life. What happens if Sally doesn't show up for a week? Sally doesn't get paid, does she? Why? Because Sally didn't put in the work. That's reality in the workplace. Well, here's what's reality in network marketing. If you don't work here, you don't get paid. If you work, you don't get paid at first, but eventually you'll get paid. And that's the difference for you to make the segue from taking one step from the traditional world into the network marketing world. We're different, but we're also the same. And if you treat it like that and you understand the numbers, then you won't get upset when you bring in Sally and she ordered something and then she'll never call you back. And you just go, dang, what did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. She's just one of the 80%. Back to you, Michael.
Yes, thank you very much. Guys, as you can tell with what Robert's talking about, there is a business applied to this company as well. And I was on a podcast, not a podcast, I was on a Rumble last week that was exposed to over 18,000 people and eventually 60,000 people. And I can't tell you that my phone has not been has not stopped ringing since last Tuesday. Thousands of calls. And you know what? One thing I found out just by dealing with all these different people from all around the world is that, you know what? If people, I mean, a lot of them have something going on. There's some type of issue, no matter what it might be, you know, and people just want to be well. And that's reality, you know? And we have to think about that because, again, it's what we're putting inside of us. What are we putting on top of us? And you can't be expecting your body to work properly the way it was designed if you're putting a bunch of stuff inside and outside you that is full and full and full of chemicals. You'll start confusing your immune system. You will. And you got to. I tell people that the immune system is like soldiers. They're your fighters, right? And when you keep putting in more toxicity and it's trying to get it out, it's going to forget about what it's supposed to do. And then your lymphatic system, and you start getting that all messed up, things can start getting really, really out of control because then things start sliding into a person's bloodstream, and then we have issues. And I dealt with a lot of them for the last few weeks, and I've dealt with a lot of them my entire life. But you know what? If you're able to get out of balance, you know, you're designed to be able to put yourself back into balance. I work with some of the largest, um, worst diseased research centers in the world that isn't even in the United States or North America. And I can tell you this, two things I can tell you. Our products as part of their protocol in the full permanent recovery process. And when you leave there, you get a little a sheet that says this is what you need to do for at least a year, at least for and up to the up to a year to the rest of your life. And every one of these Santi Organics products is pretty much listed on that form. Why? Plants, everything plants, certified organic and wildcrafted plants. And you can look, as far back as the good book in the beginning of time when this world was created, it says, I gave you plants for food. So what do we know? We know plants are food, plants are life force, plants are energy, plants are frequency, plants are vibration, plants you can get are biomimetic, meaning you can get all your minerals, your peptides, um, your amino acids, your protein from plants, and plants are bioidentical, meaning that chlorophyll and blood have exactly the same chemical makeup off by one number. And when back in the day, when you can go back to World War I, World War II days when they ran out of blood supply for the soldiers. Let me tell you what they did. They were giving out chlorophyll and coconut water transfusions, right? And they were finding out these soldiers, my goodness, they're getting better. They're recovering quicker. They got more energy and they're getting alkaline. Okay, and that's a big key in everybody's life. Learn how to alkalize a body. Create an environment inside of you where no disease, illness, virus, sickness, infection, not even cancer, and fat cannot survive in an alkaline environment. Get your body alkaline and watch how it's going to treat you back. And with that, um, I'm going to bring on Dr. JJ, who can talk a little bit more about the products and can tell it and guys, you got to look close, and then I'm sure he'll hand it back off to me, and I can end by telling you a little bit about the the business that's involved and what are some of the good points of that. So with that being said, Dr. JJ Levine, and let me tell you guys something before we do this. You just heard from Mr. Robert Blackman, who had spoken on stages around the world in this profession. He's a gentleman that's earned over $15 million in 22 years. So he's just not a guy that's just, chitting and chatting with you. This guy's a professional. He knows what he does. They say he's the GOAT in this industry. And I was just honored to be talking to him about a couple of months ago when we connected. And we connected not about business, connected because of the products. And he was looking for a um what's the word I'm looking for? He was looking for a better way to live his life and recover and just, get himself in a position that is feeling great. So that's what we talked about. So with that being said, Dr. JJ.
Thank you, Michael. Wow, we have already had a great presentation. You probably hear the ding, ding, ding. My phone's been ringing all day. My DMs on Facebook, my emails, my phones, my texts, it just keeps coming in. I haven't figured out how to silence it on my laptop. I silenced it on my phone. I thought it would just mirror that, but I'll figure that out later. That being said, Michael wanted me to share a little bit about our products. We've already touched on this. Everything we make is plants, 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 organic, toxic free. You've got a lot of choices in this industry. There's a lot of companies out there. You heard Robert Blackman talk about them. Here's the thing. Other companies make stuff. They make fads. They make things. They make patches and potions and pills. That's not us. We make products and categories that you and everyone you know is already using. There's no convincing here. I mean, we've got this here over 100 products. I know there's a little bit of a shine here, but we've got body care, essential oils, pH supplements, things to help you lose weight, things to help you alkalize, things to help you cleanse your body, and so on and so forth. Who do you have to convince to wash their body? Soaps and body washes and such. You don't have to convince anyone. Otherwise, they're not going to be your friend probably. They probably stink. I hope you're not friends with Stinky, right? Who do you have to convince to clean their clothes? I hope you don't have to do that either. Who do you have to convince to brush their teeth? Who do you have to convince that wants to get in their best shape or take nutritional products to get healthier? Well, that's what we create. But the difference between what we create and what other companies offer is that we're toxic free and organic. And whether you like it or not, whether you participate or not, whether you're one of that 70 or 80% that never enrolls anybody in a company, I can tell you, people are getting educated because of this every day. It's not about watching a commercial, watching a TV show, watching a radio, listening to a radio show. We're getting educated all the time from the internet, from our cell phones. And people every day, the number is increasing that people are becoming conscious consumers. People are reading their ingredients and they're starting at the bottom and working their way up and saying, I don't know what that is. Let me look it up. And then they're blown away that the ingredients that are in the products that they've been using every day for years, that they potentially grew up with, that they potentially put on their children and grandchildren, are linked to some horrific diseases. Yes, like cancer. And I would be remiss, and I mentioned this about a week ago, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, we're still in October here. This is breast cancer month. I don't get impressed by the pink ribbon on the front of people's labels. Because quite often when I look at those products that have the pink ribbon and I flip the bottle around, I see the ingredients in that product actually causes cancer. So if these companies really gave a darn about women's health or any of our health, they would clean up their ingredients. Now, you might be saying, well, how do companies get away with that? I mean, the US government wouldn't allow those ingredients to be in products if they cause diseases, would they? Well, in the 1930s, our government allowed self-regulation to the personal care industry. That's like the fox guard and the hen house. Isn't that crazy? And here's the crazy thing. The even crazier thing is when these American companies sell these products to Europe and other countries, they have to change the ingredients, but they don't change it for the Americans. They have to change it for the Europeans because the Europeans are ahead on the curve with these toxic ingredients. But I've also looked at the products they have, and they're not as toxic-free or toxic-free like Asante Organics. So as the world gets educated, they're going to find out about Asante Organics. We're really the only kid in town, and you're going to be the one who wants to tell them because as Michael's going to share with you in a bit, this is a business opportunity too. So at the end of the day, we've got a concept here called ditch and switch. We know everybody who's watching this live or on replay is spending money, probably every week or every month, on products. All we're asking you to do is ditch those toxic products and switch them for ours. Switch stores. Take the money you're already spending and invest in your family's health. Again, not on fads, gimmicks, patches, and pills and lotions that your family's not using. I'm talking about the products that you're already using, your toothpaste, your shampoos. If you have a protein shake, whatever, essential oils, you're not going to do better than us. And then, Michael, I'm going to invite you back on. And as you talk about the business, please also let them know the importance of this date of October 29th. Not only that it's your birthday tomorrow, but what the end of the month means here in October. So I'm going to turn it back to you, Michael.
Absolutely. Let me tell you guys something. You deserve to feel good. You deserve to not be sick. And if you do anything, you know what? Look, there's a documentary that was done last year about the blue zones, the 5 blue zones around the world where there's no, and it's lived to 100. These people are living to they're interviewing these guys that are 105, 112, and they're jumping off horses like they're on an episode of Gunsmoke. They're moving around. The women are over 100 and they're getting that thread right through the needle and making the clothes. And you know what? You don't have to live in a blue zone to create a blue zone around your life. That's what I do. It's what I want my kids to do. It's what I want my grandkids to do. I know what you're thinking. We'd be like, what, 28? He's going to turn 29 tomorrow, right? 29 and holding, I guess, right? No, but you know what? I did this for that reason. And then more and more people asked, and I was like, well, why not we allow this for the world? And you couldn't be in a better place in time, because right now only 10% of the world it's around 11% of the world's gone green. And they say in the next, and when I say they say, I mean all the companies that did all the strategic the strategies on Apple and Microsoft and all the biggest companies in the world, and they were never wrong. They say in 7 to 8 years, you're not going to have that choice. Because you know what? Everybody's going to be educated, and they are not going to be using chemicals, because chemicals are linked to dis-ease. It's just that simple. You want to get better? You start doing this. Let me tell you something. I work with a guy by the name of Lou. Lou came into our office, not to work a business. Lou came in the door sideways because he weighed 500 pounds. Okay. And Lou's like, help me. I don't want to die. Help me. So guess what we did? We got him on an alkalizing protocol. And then 6 months later, we added the shakes, because that's when we put those into the thing. And we did something different because we have a negative charge on our products. Ask us about that. A negative 750 ionic charge on all the powders, right? So they get in, they become isotonic, they absorb right away, and you feel them. And in his first year, Lou lost over 237, 38, 39 pounds. He's in the Guinness Book of World Records for losing the most amount of weight safely after the age of 51. And let's look at today. Lou weighs 168 pounds. And what he does is he models males' clothing in magazines. And he's been there for at least 10 years. Look at, I wonder if she's on the call. Let her tell you her story. Look at Joelle. She came into our company last year and wanted to get better. In 1 year, she's lost over 107 pounds and is off all her medications. I'm going to tell you what, that goes for every single solitary product that we make. We really put a lot of thought and design into it. And again, the world is going green. You can't stop it. I can't stop it. And the best way to make a lot of money in your lifetime is get in front of a way of life before it becomes a way of life. I myself, like Robert and JJ, I have been in this industry my entire life, not by choice, because my brother bugged me to get into it. And within 6 years, we were seeing checks over $300,000 a month. And that was in the 80s. Okay. So let's talk about today, right? Because now you have a chance to earn whatever it is you want. This is a business as well. Not only are you getting these award-winning products that have been also nominated for a Nobel Prize and used in research centers around the world in the full permanent recovery process. I know that you don't hear that here, not here in North America, because you know why? Let me tell you something. It's so simple. See, a patient cured equals a customer lost. All right. So I went through a little episode in my life where I got misdiagnosed. I'm gonna be honest with you. And that's how I knew that these centers were using our stuff, because I ended up at one of them, because I wasn't going to go into the system here where it's just basically a money pit. The money train, the money wagon. You're on the conveyor belt now. Because I've yet to meet a doctor in the United States that has ever, or in North America, that's he cured somebody, because they don't. They manage symptoms because they keep their waiting rooms full. But where I went, and let me tell you, I got to tell you this story, because this is a good testimonial about the system, right? I went to a place where when I left, they were going, "Don't worry about it. It's gone, 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 gone. You didn't even have it in the first place." I got back home after 2 weeks, and then my phone rings to find out, "Oh, you sitting down? We're sorry, but you didn't have it anyway. We made a mistake." And I'm like, "Whoa, I went through surgeries and all this kind of stuff because of a mistake." But I met a person that's in our company that had the same thing happen to them. It wasn't a mistake, but they got it immediately. And if they would have went where I went, they'd be done. But they didn't. So now they got them scared. They got this. It's a lady, got her scared. Come back every 6 months. Take this, do that, do that. Use this radioactive stuff. This, and it's crazy, because you know what? The third leading cause in the world is from side effects from medications that are sitting there that are supposed to be taking care of a health issue that you got. And it never takes care of the health issue. It might keep it at bay, but I'm going to tell you what, again, the third leading cause of death in the world is because of side effects. Now imagine if you can be a part of a company where it's just like mini franchise, and you own the largest USDA certified organic superstore in the world, and you get to share that with people. And you might save somebody's life. Imagine that. I think that's a beautiful thing. And you know what? The amount of money to be made here is, if I told you, you wouldn't even believe me. And you know what? When JJ was talking about, we got 2 days left. Yes, 2 days. I mean, how would you like it if you're new watching this? All you got to do is try these products. Try the Asante Organics product line, and we'll give you 2 airfares and hotel stays for 2, anywhere, 23 different destinations that you can go to around the world. Imagine that. You get a free trip. All you got to do is show up. It's good for 2 years. You can have it. You can give it away. Can use it as an incentive. And when you get involved in the business, every third person you bring in, you get a free trip. So you can gather them up. They're good for 2 years. It's huge. It's huge. And if I can do one last thing here, I am going to call on somebody and have her talk a little bit about the product line as well. So you guys can hear from somebody else who's been another iconic figure in this industry. And her name is Mint. I'm going to have her unmute herself. Ooh, I got to unmute herself. How's that? Because she can't unmute herself. So I got to get in there. And can you see her, Dr. JJ? I do, and I will make her a co-host. And now she will share her experience with the product as a professional in this industry. Go ahead, Mint.
Fantastic. Actually, and wanted to thank Robert for that nice presentation too, because people do forget that there's a reality that goes on here. We just have to allow people to be how they are. And yes, I was talking to him about how the products work even when you don't take them properly. So as I've developed, and that means that I know I'm supposed to take my enzymes before my meals. I know I'm supposed to take more if I have fish or if I have, you know, some red meat or something like that. But sometimes I get so excited about my meals, I forget. So I just take them as soon as I remember. And the beautiful part of that is the symptoms that I had that were bothering me, the reason that I was taking them, I eliminated those symptoms. So I felt like the products were working perfectly. But when I started taking them according to the label, easy, right? I found there was a domino effect of positive results. And I had more energy, more clarity. And I found out yesterday I lost 8 pounds. And I didn't change anything else, not my activity. So I'm just constantly astonished. And I'm going through the product line and I'm looking at one by one. Then I started taking the sterols because my doctor told me that I had a condition called hypothyroidism on the brink. And he knows that I wouldn't be taking any pharmaceuticals. So he says, I'm going to give you an opportunity to make some lifestyle changes and then come back to me in 3 months and then we'll check your levels again. And how happy I am when I go back there and get my new blood test. There'd be another testimony coming very shortly. Anyway, I think, Michael, you're the one that said, go through the product line and look and see what we have, because we have what everybody needs. And starting with the foundations, the enzymes and the biome, everybody needs those, everybody. Especially if you're somebody like me who's been mutilated and had their appendix taken out, told that you would die if you didn't. So, okay. Anyway, we don't have to. We can just take care of ourselves from the inside out. And thank you very much, Michael, for formulating this wonderful product line. And I'm super happy to be part of this mission. And I always say thank you to Asante Organics for sponsoring my personal mission.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Mid. All right, guys. Let me end with this, right? And I want to end with a statistic because I think everybody on this call fits into this equation, right? At the age of, this is something that other companies won't teach you. What we do here, what I like about this company is we're an education company. We're all about education first. That's it. Educating people and then providing the proper solutions. Once you're educated, then it's like, whoa, wait, how am I going to do that, right? Well, guess what? And we work with the leading immunoenzymologists in the world. The person that gets $2 million for an hour of his time in front of 800 leading oncologists in the world, worked on 189 health ministries out of 195 countries, okay? So we got some class act people that really know what they're talking about and at the tippy top of everything. I'm a leading gastroenterologist, Dr. Becky, that you'll hear on Thursday evening. We like structure, so we have a Zoom every Tuesday, every Thursday. So bring your people, hear what's going on. And this Thursday night, it's going to be huge, right? But let me leave you with this. At the age, I went through this with somebody today, and it's really important we understand this. At the age of 35 to 42 years old, you will lose 50% of your digestive capabilities. You need them. You need them. It's not like it has to be there. So at that age, we have to start now manually putting in our bodies what our body used to do when we were kids, so we can get back to feeling like kids again. Okay. And after the age of 40, you're going to lose another 10% every 10 years after the age of 40 years old. How old are you? We're all different ages on here. But I can tell you what, you can put yourself back together again the way that your body used to do for you when you were younger. And that is what you're going to have to learn that sooner or later to keep yourself extremely healthy and get rid of dis-ease or getting yourself back into balance. That is really, really huge. I'm telling you, you have to do that because you got to now manually do these things. And then we provide the solutions and we allow you to make the decisions. Now, I'm going to leave you with this tonight. Oh, again, Dr. JJ wanted me to touch on this, and I will. That for the next 2 days, for trying this product, you get a free trip. Trips even could be worth more than the box, right? And in a lot of cases, it is. But we want you to get well, better, even better than you are if you are the best. You know, you can get better. And let me leave you with this, because the leading oncologist in the world, that's not even in our country, and has the highest percentage of full permanent recovery. I was told this, and it makes a lot of sense. At the end of the day, when you get ready for bed and you're sitting there, and whether you're on your knees or where you're at, you want to thank the good Lord for the day that you were able to live, hopefully tomorrow. Thank you for your breath in our lungs, our heartbeat, a bed that we can lay on, food at our table, things like that, all the blessings that you have. Before you even do that, you remember this one thing, because it's about inside of here and what you're putting on the outside. Skin's the largest organ in the entire body, and it's going to affect you, all of it. And he says to me, Mike, at the end of the day, you think about what you did to yourself. What'd you put inside? What'd you put on top? Because only one of two things happened. Either, no matter how small or how large it is that you did it, you either participated in your life or you participated in your death. That was powerful. I'm going to tell you what, every time I look at something now, I'm going to tell you, I look at something, wow, I think about that all the time because it was said to me. And it's just that simple. You get to make the choice. And taking care of yourself, taking care of your health is your responsibility. And what a great place to do it, to get award-winning products, things that change people's lives, and then you get actually shown a way to where you can be getting paid to shop and earning cash back on all your online purchases. You're not going to get that anywhere else. And converting what you're already spending and buying into earnings. That's huge. Think about that. And you know what? Think about Thursday evening, because we're going to hear, that's Halloween. We're going to hear about some spooky microbiome from Dr. Becky that might, could lead into scary consequences. You don't want that. No. So be there on Thursday. God bless you. God bless your families. God bless your businesses. And you will see me on any broadcast. Get on Facebook. Get on my page. We do a lot of educating. Get in our private community. The Asante difference. You want to be in a private community. You do. Even wherever you're living, you know what it's like to be in you're going to get into a gated community, the Asante difference, where you got great neighbors that are sharing awesome, awesome things. Get in there on Facebook. Watch what's going on. Thank you much for your time tonight. You all be blessed, and we will see you again on another Zoom, another broadcast if I put my phone number in here, so in case you guys have any questions, you can call me, and I'll tell you my number now because I'm sure this thing will be ringing in about 2 seconds, which is great. It's 310-281-7000. 310-281-7000. And that's because you had your hands raised in here. And if you have any questions, I can help you out that way. And we will see you again on Thursday evening, same time, 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern on this Zoom link. You all have a blessed evening. Thank you for joining us. We're thankful, we're grateful, we're humbled, and we'll see you again soon. Have a wonderful evening. Be blessed.